So if you were in a jungle like this and you were somewhere here, what would be going through your mind? What would you be thinking? What would the story be? Just let your imagination run wild and just think what would go through your mind. And that would be the story or concept or theme of an aquascape. Last week we spoke about what is an aquascape. Now the next logical step to this is to understand what do we want in an aquascape. Why should our aquascape be attractive to others? Why should it mesmerize us? Why should the aquascape actually, be so stunning that somebody looks at it and they're like, wow, and they stop. A lot of times this aquascape has that effect on people. And the reason I'm sitting here and doing this video is because I wanted to show you that. There are so many stunning elements about this, the shrimp moving around, popping out from behind a leaf, suddenly a fish going into the leaf, coming out, zigzagging through the leaves. A lot of people tell me there are no fish in this aquarium. I've had these comments in the videos, but actually there are easily about 50 fish here. But they've got their own, space, they move around in their own comfort, and they're just normal. They do what they should do. What is a theme or a concept or a story of an aquarium? And how do we come about saying this is what the story is, or this is what the theme is, or this is what the concept is? You can arrive at a design for an aquascape in many ways, in many ways. An interesting anecdote, 3-time world champion Josh Sim from Malaysia, 3-time IIPLC winner. His first aquascape that he won was called Congo. You're looking at that picture right now, and a beautiful aquascape, beautiful aquascape. I happened to meet Josh in Bangalore during an event, and I asked him, Josh, what was the imagination, or why did you arrive at that design or that concept? Now, before I get to that, if at some point you want Josh Sim to be part of our videos and our conversation, maybe our Saturday conversation, let me know. But then it should be a serious class, right? So I'll figure that out, but comment. So now Josh had a very interesting story to tell. And he said,
what was the inspiration behind that? I love the story. He's born the benefit of everyone. So that, basically I want everyone to remember that even the simple thing can be acknowledged into inspiration, and you can be the best in the world with it. Such a small beginning.
Well, I think I said it already, but since you asked, I would repeat it again. I mean, the inspiration comes from a movie. My son loved the movie Tarzan, so I watched the movie with him for 1 month, non-stop every day. So, and the Congo, the movie, the Tarzan is about a forest in Congo. Yeah, so you have a lot of trees, a lot of vines. So these are the images that I remember. Now, so from this movie and from this watching the movie over and over, it gave me this kind of an inspiration to create a forest using that kind of fungal deep as my main inspiration.
Okay, the reason I asked you this again, Tarzan's one of my best movies also, like I said.
So, yahan pe or in this, there is a theme from a movie, concept Congo river basin, Congo forest, rainforest, and the story, that fight, that happens between Tarzan and the gorilla. So all of these three things have blended here. Now when you take an aquascape like this, should you have a story and then create, or you create and then have a story? Should you just do what comes to you naturally? Should you feel it and say, oh, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, or just allow it to build as it goes? Or should you prepare and make a drawing and say, this is what I'm going to create? And let's say you have a theme, mountain theme, jungle theme, forest theme, path in the forest theme, infinity theme, or you can say, something exotic or something very out of the world theme. Indonesian aquascapers are very good at this out of the world theme. Okay, these are all very unique themes. Not like you would actually see something like this in nature, but yes, it's possible. When you look at it and say, yeah, it's possible. This is possible in nature also. Okay, so it looks natural, but it also looks very sci-fi or very unique, very different. So all of this is actually correct. Each aquascaper needs to develop their own style. Now, Takayaki Fukuda, again Japanese winner of YAPLC, he is one of those aquascapers who will actually draw out and plan. Same with Josh actually. They have a picture, they'll keep the picture, they'll start working on that picture piece by piece, piece by piece. They have a drawing, they have a sketch of their imagination and they'll start working piece by piece. Mr. Amano, not so much. I've seen him do both. On a regular aquascape, he will just look at the wood and place it. But when you look at or consider the world's largest freshwater aquascape in Lisbon, that was a fully planned, piece to piece was planned. But because of the scale, it had to be planned. But for a smaller aquascape, I don't think, I've seen him do a lot of setups, but not really, too much of planning is not there. He already knows I have about 6 or 8 pieces of wood that I want to use and this kind of stone I want to use, and he puts it together. Me, on the other hand, I am what you would call a Jugar aquascaper. I can finish an aquascape in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, depending on the time and depending on what is given to me. I feel everything. I feel that piece of wood, I feel that piece of stone, and I know sometime point I say it talks to me and I place it the way everything tells me to put it together. It's hard to explain, but that's why I call myself a Jugaad aquascaper. I will manage with something that I have, and then I will look at it and say, hey, wow, this is a nice concept. This is what it is, or this is the theme, or this is the story. And of course, if you've seen my videos, you know I'm a very good storyteller. So I will concoct the story after the aquascape is made. It's not wrong. But if you're preparing for a competition, if you're preparing for something big, then pre-planning is very important. Concept development is very important. Having the right theme is very important. Understanding, how it will look is very important. And that whole basic emotion towards that concept is very important. Because an aquascape is not something that can be made, it's not a construction. It's not a carpentry job or a construction that you put 2 pieces together, left, right, and then you build it, put bricks, put cement. It's not a construction. It's an emotion. You have to sit in front of it and feel great. So how do you develop a concept? Or how do you develop a theme? How do you develop a story? Now that is something that has to come from within you. You can have technical assessments. Let me go through all about 100 of the last top winners or first top 3 winners. 100 aquascapes I will see. I will see what they have done and I will see which are more popular, and I will work out something like that and I will win or I will compete. That is a technical, approach. I don't want to do that. I will do what makes me feel good. That's an emotional approach. Now each of this is equally important. I would say if you are emotionally connected to a particular concept or a story or a theme, then you should have the right technical support. And if you are technically approaching this whole thing, then you need to balance it with certain amount of emotion. Otherwise, that whole thing will not look good. It will not be what you want it to be. So, again, how do you develop a concept? So, first, you see if you have an imagination or an image or a picture from like a movie or a magazine or a photo or a place that you have seen, a place that you have visited, a natural location, and you say, okay, this is what I want to create. The next step that you ask yourself is, okay, will this be appreciated from a competition level? What can I add? What can I subtract? Sometimes a simple plain 2 or 3 stones initially may look very, very simple, very ordinary. But as it develops, it becomes extraordinary. This tank, we started off with ropes, 2 mountains. I wanted to do something because at that point when we did this tank in October 2018, I think, Bahubali movie was very popular and we wanted to do that mountain where Bahubali falls, and that was the concept, that was the theme. We started with that. But then we realized maintaining the ropes is a pain. So we got rid of the ropes. Then we created a path. Then at some point we said, nahi yaar, path bhi theek hai, bore ho gaya, Cryptocons dal diya beech mein. I'm sorry, this is an English video. But that's what happened. So there is an evolution. But from a competition perspective, you need to understand the timeline, the evolution. But if you're looking at a long term, then there is no timeline. You can let it evolve, you can have fun with it. So your basic starting point is the key. And most importantly, you have to feel good about it. Because if you're doing something because somebody thinks it's very beautiful, then are you going to enjoy it? So again, have an idea from an imagination or a picture or something like that. Start with that. Or you have an imagination which you have not seen. There is no picture like that, but it's yours. And you're able to put it out onto a canvas or into an aquascape. Or there is the technical approach that I just mentioned, where you compare 100 people and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do because this is, a competition kind of a thing. If I do this because nobody else has done it, then I think I can get a good positioning or a ranking. Or finally, you just do it because you want to do it, you want to feel good, you enjoy yourself. Now, there is one more aspect of coming or deciding on a concept or a theme or a story. And the aspect is an element that you would use in an aquascape. Element like this. Now, I saw this piece of wood outside in my office area, or where we keep our wood. And I said, please bring it inside the office because it's got a very interesting character. Something about this wood screams loudly to me, ki bhai, use me, or, do something about me, because there's something very, very attractive, very attractive. Every side you look at it, there's something about it. There is a story here. There is a story to tell here. Now, I don't know how I'm going to use it, but I know for a fact that there will be an aquascape where I will be using it very soon. Okay. And that's why it's in my office and it's in front of me so that I can keep looking at it. Now, when will I finish this? I don't know. Okay. It will take its time. I need the right tank. I need the right size of tank. So many things. Okay. Right now, I'm actually thinking I might actually cut this portion out. Okay. And just use this portion. Because this portion is too plain. Or I may use this, cut it and then use this portion somewhere else along. Something like that. So this is right now my thought process. So the whole concept or the theme or the story is built around an element that I may or may not use. Now, if I use this piece of wood, then the story starts from there. Okay, the whole idea or the concept develops from there. So the element is telling you that I need to have grass somewhere near me. I need to have this kind of plant growing on me, or just moss growing on me. I need to have something behind me which, highlights me. Not me, Mayur, but here. So the element starts talking to you. The piece of wood starts talking to you. The piece of stone starts talking to you. And this has happened to me many times. Okay, I'll show you an image now of one of my tanks. It's a 3 feet or 90 centimeter tank. And this piece of wood was in my office for almost 6 months. And this wood, every time I looked at it, I said, no, there's something I need to do about it. And finally, I put up this greening scape after I came back from America. I mean, it just looks very, very, very beautiful. And all I've been doing now is, adding elements that will highlight the beauty of this one piece of wood. So, because that piece of wood is the main element in this aquascape. A lot of people commented when I showed them this tank that it looks like a dragon's face, which I thought so too. Okay, it looks like the face and eyes of a dragon. That's exactly what I thought also. Okay, but it took a long time to kind of develop that, bring things together, and so many permutation combinations. Keep it like this, keep it like that, keep it this way, keep it that way. Finally, there is this one aspect. The theme or the concept or the story that I'm working on is correct. Will it be appealing to somebody else? What will people think? Will I like it later? No, these are doubts that everybody gets. It is normal. Will it be good looking? See, a lot of people come to me and they show me their aquascapes. And there is only one thing that comes out of my mouth. Fantastic. I never judge the aquascape because who am I to judge? That aquascape is great looking for the person who has made it. So who am I to judge? Who am I to say that it's not good looking? Because that's my perception. So same thing applies to you guys. Don't fall for this key. Will somebody like it? Will somebody else like it? No. It's your concept, it's your story, it's your theme, it's your aquascape. Do what makes you feel happy. Do what you think is right. And most important thing about creating an aquascape, creating a story, creating a theme is observation. What is the meaning of observation? From my perspective, this is my view, is when you can look at a piece of nature, at a scenery or a location and completely empty your mind and only observe what is going on there. So even if I look at an aquascape, you should be able to empty your mind and look at the aquascape. Look at all the different things going on there. Okay, what do you think this fish is telling that fish? What do you think those two shrimp walking together are talking about? May sound silly, but silly here is good because that develops your story. That develops your sense of wanting to observe. That develops your sense of, how do you put it, observing small things, eye for detail. Because observation is equal to eye for detail. Small details make a huge difference. Little details make a huge difference. And if it didn't, why do you think all these aquascapers go and do little, small piece of stick here, small piece of wood there, small piece of stone here, those final touches? Why would they want to do it? Because those are the finer things that make the aquascape look stunning. And that's how it is in nature also. So to develop a concept or a theme or a story of an aquascape, observation of nature is the most important element. And of course, because it's the most important element, we need to talk about it in detail. So that's exactly what we are going to do next week. We are going to observe. Okay, we are going to learn to observe. And we are going to learn how to implement what we have observed. See, for me, from an aquascaping course, I want you people to learn enough that you can go to any competition or any event and be able to hold your ground and say, boss, I know the subject thoroughly. I'm using all my information and experience from Mr. Amano, Josh Sim, Jeff Senske, so many others, so many people who are not so public. I'm using all the information I've got from them and I'm putting it into these videos so that you can gather all of that and create a beautiful aquascapes for yourselves, right? So next week, observation and homework, observe. You need to start learning to observe things around you, no matter where you are. No matter where you are. Suppose you're going from point A to point B every single day, home to school, home to college, home to work. Tomorrow, during that journey, observe the number of shops that are there on the way. Now, please focus on the road. But if you're sitting in a bus or a train or something like that, okay, observe the number of unique names on those boards. Observe something that you have not seen today or in the last few days or in the last few months or years that you've been traveling on that road. Start learning to observe the small, fine things. Then your aquascape starts becoming better. Because when you then go out into nature, you observe little things. Just one piece of stone, one piece of stick fallen somewhere triggers your imagination and say, wow, this is what I can do. Now, from this piece of wood, I can create at least 30, 40 aquascapes with just one piece of wood. And each one will look different. Because I can see that many things here. And this is not magic. This is no magic. This is a practice that you do over so many years. This is something that you have to prepare yourself to learn. Learning to observe. Observe small things about people. You'll be able to care more about them. And observe happy things. It'll make you happy. Aquascaping is a lot of philosophy, boss. Okay, we'll keep discussing this as we go. Next class is, of course, we will have the Saturday session on this whole topic and we will discuss observation next week. So do your homework, okay? Because one of the questions that I'm going to ask you in the Saturday session is, what did you observe? Besides what you see normally every day, I want to know what you observed new and make it a habit. Every day observe something new. you'll learn something new, you'll become better. Okay, so I'll see you on Saturday. Bye.